there was a period of time, there was this summer before I moved to SoCal where I wasn't working and I had a lot of time in my apartment and I was staying up late. This is when it was that poker summer and I was staying up till like 3 a.m. all the time, like playing poker with Magi and KJH, Clindy. And that summer I watched that Netflix released this documentary about Ted Bundy, like a docuseries. And then I also was watching the show You, which is about like basically a serial killer killing these like women that he dates and stuff. And I watched these things back to back. I watched like the second season of You and this true crime documentary. And I started to have nightmares about serial killers coming into my home and shit.
Pussy, dude.
And
unreal.
No,
unreal reaction.
I think this is a fine thing, Aiden. I'm on your side, Aiden. Continue.
I think the Ted Bundy stuff felt extra real at some point because he went to my school.
Did he
and
really?
He like lived. Yeah, like the locations they talk about in the show where he killed people in Seattle were like, I lived
shit.
there.
Yeah.
Like or like he lived in the dorm
He
that
also
was
went to
next to
slime school.
mine.
They were the same graduating class.
And you were,
Not even close. It's not even close.
But the thing, it made me think a lot. I actually haven't watched like any true crime stuff since that summer because it started to really like disgust and like disturb me.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people consume true crime with no guilt, right?
Well,
and I'm not saying they should feel something,
I
but
don't
I'm
even
just
think
saying like, what is the differentiation between watching a 9-part, 9-hour documentary about that shooting, about these guys, and playing that video game?
Well, I think probably the historical accuracy and like what they're able to talk about in the documentary. I imagine.
But you don't think documentaries
the
are
difference is gamifying
famously...
it.
Yeah, I don't think the game is inherently problematic, but it is a very delicate examination of tragic historical event, right?
I think
Eric
the
fires around from his
argument
rifle,
is like
and
maybe
then
the
you do
game is
108
making you like
damage.
partake or misconstruing like what actually happened. But I don't think that does you being a passive viewer and indulging in the tragedy as a source of like framed entertainment, which it certainly will be in a documentary, is how much better is that really?
I would argue that a documentary isn't necessarily a framed entertainment in terms of, because it's documenting it, right? I would say a movie, a movie is different, a narrative experience.
when
Okay,
Zac
I
Efron
do
plays Ted
kind
Bundy.
of agree with you. Like I think like the Zac Efron fucking movie or like the Dahmer show that they made are worse, right? Because you're kind of like mysticizing and like fictionalizing
It's a spectrum.
this event. But
Watching documentaries is kind of like reading a book on it.
no, but that's where I disagree. Is like I'm not saying necessarily this specific Ted Bundy documentary. I think you can tell a neutral story through a documentary. But documentaries naturally have narrative framings and skewing of details, especially when they're about more mundane things. I would say that are like less electrifying on their own. That the director of the documentary is crafting a narrative by like taking details and distributing them or like displaying them in a certain way, right?
Sure.
In order to make it compelling, or
That's a human
it's not
thing.
a news report.
Sure. I mean, documentaries are like, history works off of primary sources, which is like the data, it's like driver's licenses and things that physically actually happened. And then like you become a secondary source when you take all of that and turn it into a story. But at the end of the day, it's all a story.
I mean, I
when we
think
talk like Hitler and Rome and shit, it's all a story.
the worst version is like a YouTube video essay that's just pulling headlines as a documentary.
Yes.
And
I
then the
agree with
best
that.
version is like the documentary that fucking got that guy to confess he murdered a bunch of people.
What's that?
The one that went crazy viral.
Yeah, it was just this serial killer, and they had the guy, and he like basically admitted.
Was it Making a Murderer? That
Yeah,
one?
I think so. I never watched. I just knew this thing went viral, but like I assume that's like the best case from a documentary is like you find out what happened.
Yeah, and a previously untold story gets revealed to you, and a right is wrong, or a wrong is righted.
But I find a lot of women watch true crime.
Why the fuck is that?
I found out.
What is their problem?
You found out?
You know
Found out.
why?
I talked to them.
You talked to the women and found out why they watch.
You did some
crime.
exit polling?
I did some. I talked to the delegation of women.
Okay.
The reason that they watch true crime is in a way defense of what not to do.
Oh,
You know, because like, how did this person get serial killed?
Why are you as a man?
Don't eat butts of humans I've just
No,
killed.
it's not to not be the serial killer. It's not to, don't murder. No, it's like, you know,
The toes
there's
are
like
better
some
with salt.
stuff that's like maybe common sense, maybe not common sense, but this is the guy, yeah, Durst, who revealed.
Oh my God. He had a microphone on and he said, I killed them all.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But
In the
yeah,
bathroom.
I think it's to find out, at least that's what Cutie told me, is to find out what not to do. Because I don't like watching him, but I think they make her feel some comfort.
Wait, so he can? Oh,
Dude,
he
I do
confessed
not think
accidentally.
look, maybe feel free. I would love to be corrected, but I do not feel like the bulk of viewership for true crime documentaries have their notepads out.
Well, it's not
Thinking
even
about
that, but like,
that.
you don't have to have your notepad out to be like, oh, okay, like, hey, most serial killers go to unlocked homes. That is
think
like a fact.
You might possess an increased sensitivity to macabre things. When I think a lot of people, like I can watch a documentary on World War II or the Holocaust or a serial killer and be intrigued in a way that's like, damn, that's crazy. And I don't really squeam.
Yeah.
But you seem to squeam.
No, I don't
that's
mean to say.
okay.
I also don't mean to bring up this point that I think like all media about something bad is necessarily like unethical or something, or that people shouldn't be watching it. I think I just got to this like it felt too real and it like really stuck in my psyche, and I just it made me particularly squeamish. I don't know why, like because I've watched fucking documentaries about, you know, horrific things in war, and it doesn't make me, you know, it didn't make the phantom Ted Bundy appear in my head in my
Is it
sleep.
because they were brown? Because they
Aiden,
were not a color.
your comment?
It was not the same color. Do you freak out when white people are killed, Aiden? He can't.
Yes.
I've never seen you freak out. Have you seen him freak out? I haven't seen him freak out.